What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 11 of Rebuilding Chelsea here in Football Manager 2017. As you can tell, still not feeling that great, but I really enjoy playing FM17 at the moment, and I don't want to have to stop because I'm ill, because I haven't got another save to go to at the moment. So we're going to persevere. Again, if you missed last episode, go check it out. I talked about the fact I'm not very well at the moment. I have got a really sore throat. It really hurts. But Football Manager's just a bit addictive, innit? So we're going to keep going with it, and hopefully you guys do enjoy, despite the fact that I've definitely sounded better. So anyway, last time out we played Norwich and we won 6-1. As you can see, since then, 6 games to go through. It's been a contrast, really, to the games that preceded it. You kind of look at the number of goals we were scoring, you look at these games here. 3 1-0 wins, a 2-1 defeat in the Premier League, a 2-1 defeat against Bournemouth, and a draw 2-2. The goals have vanished, and we're scraping by, which I guess the clean sheets are nice. But really, I'd like to be beating some of these teams by a more convincing margin. Anyway, as you can see, we beat Hull here away from home. Lukaku getting the all-important goal. Lee Griffiths missed a penalty for them in the second half. That would have drawn it even at 1-1, so we were fortunate there. Against Palace in the next game, a 1-0 win. It was Lallana with the goal. I think that was his second goal of the season. Charlie Musonda picking up the Man of the Match award as well, which is kind of nice to see. Obviously, Charlie, a player who was here when we joined the club, he's become a regular in the Belgium kind of national side, and he's performing very, very well for us when we've called upon him. Perhaps not giving him as many opportunities as I should, but in this game he was a difference maker. As I said, a second 1-0 defeat in a row. Not really something I want to see become habit, but we'll kind of persevere with it. The next game, the most disappointing defeat perhaps since I came to Chelsea, a 2-1 away defeat against Southampton. Danny Welbeck getting both the goals, both coming in the second half, but as you can see here, Virgil van Dijk sent off in the 25th minute. In truth, this game was a wake-up call. We'd won, I think, our previous 9 or 10 games on the bounce. We were within touching distance of surpassing the club's record number of wins in a row, which sat at 10. And we lost it in a game where we never really should have lost it. As I said, the sending off happened after we'd already gone 1 goal up. But Southampton were very, very impressive, if I'm honest. They played very well considering they were a man down. And they probably deserved to win the game. We tried to change things. We took off Lallana and Martin Odegaard, who picked up an injury. But Rashford and Musonda, who came on, just didn't really change the game for us. It was disappointing. Anyway, following on from that, we had an extra time defeat against Bournemouth. Andre Gray grabbing the brace for them. If it had been Andy Gray scoring, that would have been an achievement for a man of his age. But no, it was Andre Gray with the 2 goals. Chris Smalling got a kind of consolation goal, but it wasn't of any significance, unfortunately, and we did lose that game. Anyway, our third 1-0 win kind of in 4 games was secured at the Hawthorns. Theo Walcott with the goal. A good goal for him. He was starting the game. Did well, made the difference. A clean sheet's nice. Lukaku's been very poor recently. A player who got a hat-trick, I believe, last episode. He's got 1 goal and 1 assist in his last 5 games. Just not good enough by the Belgium, and I'm hoping he can step that up really going forward. Anyway, in our last game against Newcastle, as you can see here, I actually dropped Lukaku. It was a somewhat controversial change, I guess. He did come on with 14 minutes left, couldn't make an impact on the game, really. It was actually Czerny in the end who got the all-important equaliser for us. An 87th minute goal, the goal we relied on to get anything from this game. Really not good enough. You can see Chris Smalling picked up an injury as well. That was a stubbed toe. Following on from this game, we did have an international break, however, and that actually leads us to where we are now, which is a home tie at Stamford Bridge against Manchester United, who currently lie in 4th. And while given the fact that we've only won 1 of our last 4, this is going to be a tricky game, I feel like, for us today. United's form, pretty... I want to say it's mixed as well. In fact, their last 4 game form is very similar to ours. But they've had tougher opposition. They've played the likes of Liverpool, Man City, Apoel, the Cypriot side. I guess the exception to the 4 games that they've played recently. But they're going to be tough. Obviously, an international break for both teams has benefited us. In terms of team news for us, Predrag Rajkovic, injured. Out for 5 to 7 days. That does mean that Rob Elliott's coming into the side. To be honest, Rob Elliott, he's quite a good goalkeeper. One thing that I can't stress enough as well is, and I hear people talk about this a lot, is people compare star ratings like that's fact. Don't trust star ratings. Don't trust what your assistant considers a player's best role to be. Just because it says a player's best role is a certain role on the player profile page doesn't mean that that's the case at all, really. And this is a good example of it. So here we have Rob Elliott and Harry Lewis, kind of our second and third choice goalkeepers. You can see, looking at their ability, both 2-star for current ability, decent rating. Potential for, obviously, Harry Lewis is significantly better. So you might be sat there thinking, well, they've got the same star rating, similar players. I'll play Harry Lewis ahead of him because he's got potential. It's not the case. You can see here a very big difference between the two players. Definitely, technically, Rob Elliott a different kind of class of goalkeeper, really. Physically, he's not got the same pace off his line, but all in all, I definitely feel like Rob Elliott is the better of our two goalkeepers by quite a decent margin, actually. Perhaps his aerial reach could be a little bit better, but when you look at his kind of stuff like his throwing, his rushing out, his reflexes, a lot of the key areas, he is significantly better in those, and so he is going to be the man who kind of starts in goal for us today. And other news, we need to make some changes, and I'm going to bring in, I think, Fabian Delph. Oh, he's not match fit. I'll play Anoma for the match fitness. We need someone to come in to play that centre mid defender. Of course, Anoma picked up a cap in the last international break, was out of the squad for the most recent break that we've just come back from. However, Ryan Sessegnon grabbed 2 caps, took his opportunity while the 18-year-old. You can see he played in the European League, and then I assume he played 1 friendly as well. He got a 6.7 rating. Not great, but he's 18. 2 caps for England. Definitely one for the future, Ryan. Hopefully we can continue to see him develop. But yeah, in terms of our team for today's game, I probably should have sorted it prior to kind of joining you guys here, but we can really quickly give it a quick turnaround. I'm going to bring Lukaku back into the starting 11. Theo Walcott's form over his last 5 games has dipped as well. You know, when you looked at Lukaku and Theo Walcott, they were the 2 players who really stood out for us as having had, well, fantastic starts to the season. Unfortunately, that's kind of tailed off a little bit. Kelici's back from his broken ankle, however, so we have got a new attacking option there. Of course, Iheanacho, the Nigerian, he's been out with this broken ankle. It's been a long-term injury. He played 2 games prior to it happening. Never really set the world alight. But yeah, he's going to be on the bench for us today. I think I am going to have to make a change here, and it's actually going to be to bring in Iorfa for Zuma. Iorfa's a good player. He's definitely not of the same calibre as Kurt Zouma, but Kurt Zouma on 85% condition, I can't really play him, not with that condition. Maybe he can come on off the bench at half-time. That's probably the best option for him. But, well, right now, I'm just not overly convinced, I guess, with playing him in this game because of that factor. Will Hughes is struggling a little bit as well. I mean, there is a reasonable argument to suggest I should maybe just bring in Barkley as a centre attack in mid and then play Odegaard as a deep line playmaker. I don't really want to rotate the team too much, but fitness is very critical. And obviously, coming off the back of an international break, there are a few players there who just haven't really had a break. And so this might provide us with an opportunity to do that. So anyway, looking at our team for today's game, Rob Elliott's going to start in goal. It's going to be a tough game this against Manchester United with a few key players out. But Nathan Ake is going to play left back for us. Worth noting, actually, Ake starting to play for the Dutch national team. Very, very excited about that. Obviously, the 23-year-old, one of the players who really has made the biggest improvement since we took over at Chelsea. At right back, we have Kyle Walker. In the centre-back positions, we're going to go with Chris Smalling and Iorfa. Of course, as I mentioned, Zuma going to be dropped to the bench. Probably will bring him on at half-time in favour of the Nigerian in Dominic here. Looking slightly higher at the pitch in the centre mid-defend role, we are going to be going with Anoma, and alongside him we are going to go with Odegaard. Odegaard, of course, normally playing that centre attacking mid role, but he is very well adapted to kind of playing as a deep line playmaker on support. And that does open up an opportunity here for Ross Barkley, a player who, I've got to be honest, when I signed him, I thought he'd do more in the first team. So far, 6 appearances, 1 assist. He's not done a whole lot for us, although 4 of those appearances of those 6 have come on off the bench. So maybe he can step it up today. I think there's a little bit of pressure on him. He's been dropped from the England side. I'm giving him a big vote of confidence today in terms of playing him as a centre attacking mid in a preferred role of his. I'm hoping he can really step up to the occasion. Anyway, at right attacking mid, we're going to go with Marcus Rashford, the 21-year-old, continuing to play in the England national side, continuing to develop as well. Of course, only 21, a fantastic player. Very excited to see how he can get on. Out on the left, we go with Adam Lallana. Again, still in the England side, Lallana, still performing fairly well for them too. Hopefully he can give a good performance for us today, because he's had a pretty good start to the season, all things considering. A 7.2 average rating across his first 10 games of the season. Let's hope for something similar for that today. On the bench, we've got Kurt Zouma, Ryan Sessegnon, who of course, as I mentioned, has recently come into the England side. Fabian Delph, 29 years old, kind of brought in to be a bit of depth in the centre mid position. You know, very much a backup. He knows his place in the side, but he's going to be on the bench today. Definitely an option we can bring on. We've then got Will Hughes, of course, a fantastic little playmaker we can bring on. 23 years old, still developing. So much to like about this guy. You can see just one con to his game, which is his poor heading. Enjoys big matches. He's consistent. He's someone we can rely upon and definitely can change the game off the bench. We've got Černý here, the Czech Republic player, continuing to play for the Czech national side. I am actually looking to maybe loan out Černý. He's played very well for us when we've called upon him, but I feel like he would be a lot better developed actually playing regular first team football, and I think he's very much capable of getting that somewhere. So that's definitely a move I might be looking to land come the January transfer window. Anyway, the next player we have, Theo Walcott here. Worth noting, Theo, of course, he only signed on a 1-year deal when he first joined us. That was kind of a mistake on my behalf. He's now had a 2-year contract extension signed. Of course, that was a little while ago. I think that may have even been before the last episode. Since he signed that contract, his form has gone completely down the drain. So I'm hoping that in securing a new deal, that hasn't affected his work ethic too much. Of course, the last player we've got on the bench, Kelechi, 22 years old, a horrific injury really, a broken ankle. It's definitely had a detrimental effect on his physical attributes. However, this guy can make a difference for us. He was huge for us last year with 25 goals. He can be huge for us this year. He just needs to find a little bit of form and find a few opportunities. But I don't feel like Manchester United here is the game kind of to test that out. So as I mentioned, Rajkovic out injured, Christiansen also suspended. They're kind of the big misses really for us. Of course, Bailey, the Ivorian centre-back on loan from Manchester United, can't play in this game as a result. So this is the team that we are going to go with, and I'm hoping really that today these players can step up to the mark and show that we are a top 4 side. This is going to be tough. We're at home against Manchester United. A win here would see us go top of the table, but as you can see, our recent dip in form, the loss against Southampton, the draw against Newcastle, has seen us lose the ground that we had ahead of the teams behind us. A defeat here against Manchester United wouldn't see them leapfrog us, and a win here actually would put us 5 points clear of Tottenham in 3rd. Although that said, Man City could still close the gap if they perform well in their game in hand. Anyway, looking at the United side, going to play a 4-4-2. De Gea, Shaw, Jones, Benatia, Danilo, Willian, Højbjerg, Herrera, Depay, Mata, Martial. Lots of players to be familiar with there. Interesting to note they are just playing kind of the 2 kind of attacking players in Mata and Martial. But, well, we need to bounce back. If you can remember and cast your mind back to perhaps last season against Manchester United, there was one of the most embarrassing results I think I've ever had during my time doing Football Manager videos on YouTube. We won a first leg against them in the EFL Cup 3-0. We threw it away and lost the second leg 4-0. I don't want that to happen again. I want a great performance today. I don't want to see us get bullied in this match. And, well, I mean, Memphis Depay's just scored a screamer. I'm still not feeling great. I feel even worse after watching that goal go in. What a finish that was by him. We'll now get a beautiful chance to see it in 3D. 20 seconds gone, Memphis Depay with the goal, and well, we've been punished. And well, the marking was poor, the defending was very lackluster. It was tired defending. It was like it was the first 20 seconds of a match, and we weren't quite switched on. Memphis Depay just marauders in. Does he hit this well? Can I blame Rob Elliott? Probably not. He's hit that very well into the bottom corner. A powerful strike by the Dutch international, and unfortunately for us, we have a long fight back ahead of us now. At least we've got 89 minutes and 40 seconds, I guess, to do it. But no, that's not the start we wanted in this game. That's not how I wanted to see the opening of this match go at all, and unfortunately for us, it's the situation we now have to deal with. So we have a long time left to sort something out, but there's players who I kind of talked about the fact they haven't really performed well of late. Lukaku, 1 goal in his last 5. I need to see Romelu step up for us, really. There's a few other players who I could also kind of swing into that bracket of players who haven't played that well of late. A little bit annoying, perhaps, the fact we've got 2 bookings so early on as well. But we are bringing the ball forward here. Lukaku to Adam Lallana. Back to Anoma. Now with Lallana. Nice little bit of build-up play here. Can we make something happen here? at the end of it. Chris Smalling, of course, playing against his former side. Nice ball to Ake. Whips it in. Lukaku there. That is what I want to see from Romelu. Not a sending off, not a yellow card, although he's already got one, but a finely striked finish. I think this was a header, and he just used a lot of the power off the Ake cross. Ball in the air. Lukaku just challenges well. I think that was against Benatia. It was indeed. And he wins it well, does the Belgium international, and he guides it with the help of the power, I guess, off the initial cross by Nathan Ake into the back of the net. And that was delightful. Cannot complain about that one little bit, really. And well, with 30 minutes gone, it's not been a game with a ton of chances, really. Both teams having taken just a good chance that came their way, a well-taken opportunity for both sides. You'd probably say United's goal was slightly better, but really it's been 2 moments of brilliance in what's been a distinctly average and uninspired game so far. That said, we do have the ball here. Lallana, number 14, to Rashford. Barkley's there. Can he make amends? He smashes it straight at the keeper. I talked about the fact Ross Barkley was a player he'd spent £27 million on. One of the big spends of our summer window. You expect a return for that kind of money. And, well, he didn't have the goods there, did he? And now the ball with Depay at the edge of the box again. He lays into Martial. Elliott, what a save that is. Unfortunately, Willian, our former man, a man we sold, of course, to Manchester United this season, he scores the goal. And, well, we didn't deal with the initial effort here from Martial. It was a good stop, actually, by Elliott. In fact, it wasn't. It went through his legs. In 2D, it looked like quite a nice save. I always feel like the 3D representations just make the keepers look like they're doing stupid things. The ball was hit at him hard. I thought he did well just to tip it away, but unfortunately, straight into the path of Willian playing out on the right-hand side. And, well, at half-time, 2-1 down. It could be worse. It could be a hell of a lot better, though. Ross Barkley on a 6.5, Lallana on a 6.6, Anoma on a 6.4. Changes have got to be made. Iorfa, he's on a 7.0. I'm not going to take him off for Zuma. I'm going to make one change, and that is I'm going to bring in Will Hughes to play centre mid on defend. Part of me also wants to bring on Kelechi, if I'm honest. And I think, do I want to do it this soon? That's kind of the question I've got to answer myself. Do I want to make a change kind of so prematurely? I think I do. I'm going to play Rashford down the middle. It'll probably be easier for me to show you on the tactical screen, to be honest, what I've done here. So we're going to move Odegaard out onto the left-hand side, which he's now a little bit more comfortable to play. Rashford's going to play down the middle on an attacking midfielder on attack. Kelechi is going to come inside and play on the right inside forward role. He's pretty comfortable with playing. Will Hughes and Barkley going to now make up our centre mid duo. Of course, Odegaard was down there with Anoma, who's gone it off in favour of Will Hughes. So a double change there. Not really changing the system, just changing the personnel. I feel like the system as a whole has worked adequately against Manchester United so far. Just a few pieces that make up the jigsaw of our team just not quite been at the races today. So we're going to make the changes there. Hope those players can improve. But, well, we're going to come forward again. Martin Odegaard to Rashford. Lays it off to Barkley, number 22. Not the greatest game. Kelechi's there. Can he finish it? He can't. You want to bail him out. And while you'd have to say, looking at the stats as a whole, yes, United have had more shots, but both teams have had clear-cut chances. Both teams have had opportunities. They've just not been taken when they've fallen our way. We are, however, going forward with the ball here. Rashford hits it narrowly wide of the mark. Fantastic effort, actually. Very unfortunate in the end. They didn't find its way into the back of the net. Ross Barkley on a 6.4. I expected better when I bought him. I expected better. I'm going to move Odegaard further back. I know I'm kind of changing the team fairly frequently here. I actually want to bring in Theo Walcott. And we're going to play him out on the left-hand side. But instead of being an advanced playmaker, he's going to be an inside forward on attack. And we're also going to change Kelechi to being an inside forward on attack. We've got to go for this game a little bit more at this point. I'm also going to be dropping Odegaard back into centre mid. So for the third time this game, Martin Odegaard switches positions. But no, really just facilitating for the players I'm bringing on. Lukaku's not at his best day at the races, really, with the exception of the one goal he scored. Let's see if, the pace that we've brought on, the exuberance we now have in the final third with Kelechi, Marcus Rashford, obviously Walcott and Lukaku, that should be a front four that can do something with their pace. But, well, we have 20 minutes here. And it's It's not really been good enough, has it? Let's give an aggressive team talk. Please show some passion, boys. Show me some desire. 20 minutes left. We're going to need a goal soon if we want to have just a slender bit of hope going into the end of this game that we maybe can get something. Unfortunately for us, it just doesn't look likely right now. 15 minutes left. Tactically, we're kind of just... I mean, we're just kind of rolling the dice at this point. We're going to switch the fullbacks onto attack, change the midfielder roles. So we're committing more men into the attack. We're going to be more exposed at the back. But at 3-1 down, we need 2 goals. Martial almost puts the game beyond doubt. Fortunately for us, the side netting comes to the rescue. I do wonder how big an impact perhaps the fact that Zuma and Rajkovic are both out is. I think they're big misses, as is Christiansen as well, actually, playing at centre mid for us. It's a position that's really locked down the centre mid on defend role, so for him to be suspended for this game is problematic to say the least. Unfortunately for us, this game, it's probably gone now. It's slipping away. 5 minutes left, if there's some added time, and well, we've just not looked good enough here. We've not created enough, but when we did create stuff, there was a lack of a cutting edge, a lack of a clinicalness that was perhaps present a month or 2 ago, and well, in football, we're not playing with any real confidence. And, well, there's been... I mean, look at that back pass by Smalling. There's been no fight shown by the players in this game. And really, I'll be grateful to get off the pitch, assuming it's not going to be 4-1 here. You know, just blow the whistle now, ref. End our suffering. Ball to the back post. Benatia heads it over. It probably should have been another for United. 3-1. It's disappointing. I don't know if you could quite describe it as embarrassing, but, well, we were expecting something else. I mean, my sister wants to tell them it was disappointing. He's taken they get on in that game. But I think it's safe to assume at this point that they are going to win and close the gap on us. And, well, it looks like for us this year, the aim is going to be to try and finish top 4 rather than maybe a title challenge. We had such a great start to the season. We hit some great form. But, well, 1 win in the last 5 is not the kind of form that we can be afford to having for too long. Obviously, it's a tough game against Manchester United, but they're all tough games, really. City did win 2-1. It was actually a last-minute goal for them. Britta Sombolonga, our former man, almost doing us a favour. In terms of our games up to, hopefully my voice will be better by that point, because it is pretty bad right now. Hopefully you guys did enjoy regardless. Hopefully you were able to tolerate my not-so-soothing tones today.